here and stripped them of who they were purposefully, so that generationally now we don't know who we are. We think we are what they created us to be. And then we have a hard time picking ourselves back up to become that thing that we were. I mean, what a conspiracy. And man, did they work that thing. I mean, they worked it good.
It's been in effect for hundreds and thousands.
They worked it good. To know the stock that we really come from, to know who we really are, and then to be subject to what they think and say we are. And some of them don't even know any better at all, because they're desensitized who don't even know any better.
Right.
And so systematically they've chipped away. I can say, I'll be cool, come back. Come on, girl. Come on, take it. Come on. Come on.
All right, it seems we're past our technical difficulty, and we now return you to your regular program. So, as we look at
I don't see this on
Habakkuk, we see
it's a new one.
that people are getting ready to be judged, getting ready to go into captivity. And sin always precedes judgment. So we have to understand that our people were sinning. The 10 tribes had already been judged and dispersed. So now we're seeing that Yehuda is about to come.
Finishing 5. Finish up 5.
Yes.
For a work is being wrought in your days, which ye would not believe if it were told. See,
A work is being wrought in your day that you wouldn't believe. And again, we in our time down, we were kind of discussing it, amongst ourselves. We didn't really want to get too far ahead, but to understand that the depravity of which our people would be carried into was such that it was difficult just to be said it's going to happen. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. It would be so bad that had the Most High not shown the prophet, he wasn't going to believe it. And I think these are the horrors that Abraham saw when he saw what was going to happen to his people as they would be 400 years in captivity. These are the horrors that he would experience that horrify. But understand that any of us that have to see or that can peer into the poverty of our people, knowing who we are, and that is a key aspect. Knowing who we are. It is a travesty that goes beyond words. That the Most High people, His chosen people, can be treated and abused by another race of people to the extent in which we were. But we're going to find out who they are. Continue.
see, I am raising up the condemned, a bitter and hasty nation, who is going through the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not theirs.
See, I'm raising up the Chaldeans or the Chaldeans. The Most High is in complete control of everything. And he says that he's raising up, or he is allowing a group of people to rise that is going to seemingly come out of nowhere. We see this even today, when we see the grasshoppers in Las Vegas. It wasn't that somebody was watching them and all of a sudden, they can forecast, they're on their way to Las Vegas now. But seemingly out of nowhere, dormant sea larvae, hatches, and then began swarming, swarms of locusts out of nowhere, swarms of grasshoppers that seemingly come out of nowhere. And here it is, the Most High said, I'm raising a nation. Chaldeans. And when we look at the characteristic, one of the, because this is important, because just like in Deuteronomy 28, as we look at the characteristics of the curses that would be on us, we were able to identify people. And so if we look at the characteristics of these Chaldeans, then we're going to be able to see what people group actually lines up with that. What people group can we see today? Because when he says that I'm going to do this in your day, yes, that may have been the first advent of it. But we see that prophecy, happens more than once. Sometimes we'll see it happen again and again. And what we're going to see is a people that we can identify very clearly. Because it says, a hasty nation. This is a nation of people that they're not moving slow. They're not, you don't see a gradual migration or a gradual, I'm gonna take over this nation right next to me. And then 100, 200 years go by, and then they say, well, we need to expand our territory. We're gonna take this nation south of us. That would be a gradual one. But a nation that we see moving hastily, going east, north, south, and west, groups of them, taking nations, simultaneously. They're moving hastily. It says a nation going through the breadth of the earth. They're not just staying in one continent, but they're going throughout the entire earth. No matter where, wherever there's land, no matter how great the sea is or the ocean, they're traveling now like a virus in the air. It's not just local, but now it's in the air and it's spreading across the entire face of the earth. It's moving across the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not there. It doesn't belong to them. It's not on your continent. You didn't discover it. It's not like you found a place and there was no life on it. It doesn't belong to you, but yet you have gone in to possess it. We just recently, about a year or so ago, saw a movie. And in that movie, it coined the phrase colonized. Because everywhere they go, they're colonized. Everywhere they go, they're taking the people and they're putting that people up under their rulership, and they're abusing those people. No matter where they go to a different continent, to islands. They even claim to go to the moon. They put their flag there as well.
Verse 7. They are frightening and fearsome. Their right rulings and their exaltation proceed from themselves.
So they're frightening and fearsome because they don't behave like the nations or the peoples around about. And so they seem to have this characteristic about them that seems to go overboard, so much that is frightening, so much that is uncommon to the normal understanding of human nature. It's fearsome. Their right rulings and their exaltations proceed from them. It's like they're following after the desires of their flesh. They're not following a Torah like we do. We're following the guidelines and the instructions of our Elohim, but these people seem to be following something that's internal, something that doesn't come from a mighty one, something that comes just from whatever it is they desire to do, they do it. It's internal. It's not connected to something higher, something greater than themselves. They're not trying to be better. They're just trying to do and to be. And whatever that is, whatever the desires of their flesh or their heart is, it's acceptable in their own eyes.
Their horses shall be swifter than leopards and more fierce than evening wolves.
So when we think about horses, we always talk about horses as a military power. Horses is a strength in a nation. So their power, their ability to be able to come in and subdue nations is swift. They're able to do this quicker than predators have been able to do it. A leopard is a predatory animal. They're able to go in swifter than even the predator nations, or those nations that were normally around that would come in a war against us. We could at least fight them and make agreements with them, but not with this nation. Their military power, their strength is such that they come in even quicker than leopards to destroy, to bring destruction. They're like wolves, night wolves. I was reading the commentary talking about a wolf that possibly didn't find their prey throughout the day, and now as the evening sets in, they're famished. Their desire is heightened, and so they come in with even a greater desire to bring about destruction. Night wolves.
And their horsemen shall charge ahead, and their horsemen come from afar.
Their cavalry should go precedes them, and it goes in, and it brings about the destruction that sets the way for this nation to be able to put its grasp on the people.
They fly as the eagle rushing to eat.
So that eagle that comes in swift, it's an eagle, in order for it to catch its prey, has to dive. And it comes in unaware. Fish that you ever see a bald eagle catch a fish out of water, that fish doesn't know that eagle is coming down. When the eagle is coming down on a rabbit or to catch a prey, it's coming from a position and a place that is unfamiliar, that the animal is unaware of, that is not watching. This is the way that this nation attacks. It's coming from directions and ways. One of the reasons why this nation, talking about the Americas, was easily taken over is because the people that were in this nation, they honored covenants made by each other. This line you don't cross. You don't, if we go to war, we don't hurt the women and children. If we go to war, we don't do this or that. We don't destroy all of the males because we don't want to see you wiped out as a people. They may make covenants. We say, okay, I'll give you my daughter as a bride, and in that we make agreements not to war against each other. But not the nation that came in to the Americans. This nation didn't honor covenants. This nation would make covenants only to break those covenants. That's like that eagle coming in and attacking, because they're attacking from a position that is completely foreign to its prey. When a nation comes in and it makes an agreement, then it relaxes the nation that it made the agreements. Why? Because for thousands of years, we've been able to make agreements with all of the nations round about, and all of the nations honor that. But here is a nation that doesn't honor its agreements, that breaks, that lies, that will come in and actually wipe out everything. It's coming from a position that is completely poor.
And do it with no regard.
Do it with no regard, no heart,
No
whatsoever.
remorse.
Verse 9. All of them come from violence. The direction of their faces is like the east wind, and they gather captives like sand.
So it doesn't make a difference. Everywhere they go, they bring about fear and destruction, and everything goes into captivity. I say, what nation have we seen repetitively throughout history do this? I mean, it's not hard to look around. I mean, was it the Hamites that were doing this? No. I mean, you have some peoples like the Aborigines in Australia to go bother any other people group. They stayed put. They weren't trying to go all over the place. It didn't mean that they didn't war against families and tribes. But they didn't go in and take over Guam and take over Hawaii or any nearing islands. They didn't go into Africa and start taking land and destroying and raping and pillaging. And we did see a group of people that left their continent, that left the area that they showed up out of, and began to spread across the face of the earth to take lands that did not belong to them.
Verse 10. And they scoff at sovereigns, and princes are a laughing matter to them. They laugh at every stronghold, for they pile up earth and seize it.
So they don't give any regards to the kings. They can lie to them, at will. They have no respect, no honor for them. No prince. It doesn't make a difference. That prince has no honor to them. They don't treat them differently. They go, when they go in, as far as they was concerned, that prince is a pauper. He has no standing in their heart or in their mind. There will be no heritage left. There would be no royalty. There would be no people of that lineage that will exist to bring forth a renewal of that nation after they come in, because they give no regard to the kings or the princes.
Verse 11. Then shall he pass on as a wind, and transgress, and be guilty, and ascribe this power to his mighty one.
They shall pass on as a wind. When we went into Afghanistan, we destroyed the leadership, the government, their ability to provide for themselves. This country got what it wanted and left that nation in ruins, unable to govern itself anymore, unable to be able to provide and to take care of its people. Iraq, all of these places they went into, they just go in and destroy. He says that, and they pass as a wind and transgress and be guilty. They weren't hiding. I mean, you know exactly who came in, know exactly what nation brought about this destruction. And they ascribe this power to the mighty. This nation knows who its mighty one is. It is not the Elohim of the scripture. It calls it God because it doesn't want you to understand who its mighty one is. But it knows who its mighty one is, and it goes under the title of capitalism. And it goes in trying to bring about its democracy or whatever, but we know that it does nothing in line of the scriptures. It follows no Torah that we follow. So it's not saying that it's following Yahuwah. Not saying that I'm going in and bringing about the judgment of Yahuwah, but it's coming in bringing about its own desires to bring about destruction upon the peoples of the earth. Okay.
Verse 12. Are you not from everlasting, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, my set apart one?
Now, understand that as the Most High has revealed the chasm to Habakkuk. I mean, this had to be a horrifying vision of a people that seemingly should not even be able to exist. Seemingly should not be, there should not be a humanity, a nation of people that would actually come in and do these things. They've not dealt with that before. But here it is being described that this would actually happen. But then he looks and he begins to cry out to the Most High. And before he even begins to question, he recognizes who the Most High is. He says, "Are you not from everlasting, O Yahuwah?" He says, "My Elohim." Showing his connectedness, showing his esteem, showing the esteem that he is giving to the Most High. My set apart one. Continue.
You do not die, O Yahuwah.
You do not die, meaning that you have been here from the very beginning of all of creation. This is not something that is surprising to you. This is not something that's taking you by surprise. Something that you don't even understand. Continue.
O Yahuwah, you have appointed them for right ruling. O Rock, you have established them for reproof.
This is why they have come about. To bring about judgment because of our disobedience. He's allowed a nation, this people group to come in to bring about judgment upon the people that would be disobedient to the Most High. He allowed these people to exist. This is why they exist today. For our punishment. They're not going to always exist, though. Because once they're done, once their time is over, complete destruction will come upon these people. But even remotely putting their hands on them. But even desiring to come in. Now, as I continue to study, as I continue to gain understanding of what happened to us as a people throughout the centuries, the other nations, the Arabic nations, understood and knew who we were. They knew our connection to Elohim. And as I listened to them describe, listen to them give our history, because they know it better than some of us do. They give dates. They know that we were disobedient to Torah. They know that if we were disobedient, they know that Deuteronomy 28:16 through 68 was going to happen. And they sat and watched it happen. Matter of fact, they participated because they started taking us as slaves even before the Chaldeans did. The Arab slave trade. Because they knew that we were ripe for slavery, to be abused, to be taken advantage of, because our Elohim had turned his face from us because of our disobedience. They passed that information on to the Europeans. They passed it on to them to bring us into slavery. And when they brought us into slavery, they did it at a rate and at a level and at a cruelty that was unknown to mankind. When they began to take us into slavery, it was worse than having a mule. Because they would feed a mule. They would feed an ox. But they would take our people and they would put us into slavery, into the fields, plowing fields, pulling plows, digging mines, and wouldn't even feed, wouldn't even clothe, working us night and day without rest, without sleep, without food, until we just died of complete exhaustion, and then go out and collect more. This is the cruelty of these people as they began to move from continent to continent, taking in slaves, because they were told that we were right for slavery. And this is what we see when we read Deuteronomy 80. sin. Had we done what we were supposed to do, had we followed Torah and stayed true to the covenant that the Most High set with our forefathers, evil that exists still to this day would have never risen, would have never come about, would have never gone across the face of the earth, destroying every place it lands, like disease, like locusts, like a locust that devours everything in its path. It exists because we sinned and we did not follow His will. 16.
16. Therefore he slaughters in his net and burns incense to his dragnet, for by them is his portion fat and his food is rich.
Therefore he slaughters to his net, burns incense in his dragnet. He worships what he's doing. I mean, in his heart, in his mind, he is right and is praiseworthy because he doesn't follow any moral standard. And this is why he says, be amazed at what they're capable of doing, because they have no moral. I tell you, the more you understand the nation that has helped us capture, it is amazing the depths of what they will do, what they have done. I've seen pictures of them standing before a wall in their den where they should have had goat heads and rhinos and tusks and leopards and lion heads, but instead it was human heads. In a home, displayed as pride, as trophy. Not somewhere, again, stuck in a cave somewhere where they could get their own personal pleasures, but no, displayed proudly in a home built by the hands of the slaves, but displayed as the heads of those that they destroyed for their children to look at, for their sons and daughters and grandchildren. There's a wickedness in this earth. The wickedness in this. This is why Habakkuk, when he said, when his return, he's coming back, and the blood will reach the horse's bridle for the destruction that he will bring upon this evil nation. Every swing of the sword will be justified. It is a right ruling. When all is found, all of the children that they have killed, damaged, destroyed, all of the women that they have raped and pillaged, and all of the men that they have torn asunder, every evil, all the perverse acts that they've done throughout history, that they still do to this very day. It's not going to be a mystery. It ain't going to be one of those things that somebody is asking why. The only question was why it didn't happen sooner. That's where Habakkuk was asking. How long do we have to watch this? How long will it be? How long will this violence go on? We're not here for you.
That's Is he therefore to keep on emptying his net and killing nations without sparing?
That's going to continue. But what Habakkuk was seeing, it was evil with seemingly no end. And it's the same thing that we are experiencing in this nation. When will it stop? Why were we ever even desiring to be part of a nation that could do the things that it's done? It's not over. We say slavery ended in 1860 something. No, it did not. It did not. The cruelty continued, and it continues on to this very day, because the nation has not changed. The people have not changed. Individuals, yes. There may be those individuals that say, I don't want to be part of this. I want to come out. I don't want to be part of this nation that will cling to a Hebrew, to desire to worship Elohim. But the nation of a whole, yes, we look back at what Martin Luther King said, that I fear that I've led my people into a burning house. To a house that is already set for destruction, set for judgment. A house that we should not ever have wanted to be part of. The flames should have been burning hot, so hot that we should have wanted to be as far away from it as possible, because of what we have seen, and what we have heard, and what we've experienced as a people. We know that we should have desired a complete separation, that we should have moved away so that the Most High could judge that nation. We wanted to be close. We wanted to be part of it. And in that, all we have seen is the destruction of our people, our men, our women, and our children, to this very day, are being destroyed. Any questions or comments? We give it over to Shema here. But understand that this nation will be judged. We need to be as far away from it as possible. When I look at the Chaldeans, just like I look at Deuteronomy 28, I see in two cases, two people being described. I can clearly see them on the face of the earth. Both of them. Without question. There's only one group of people that line up with Deuteronomy 28, verses that fell upon a disobedient nation. There's only one nation that lines up with the chasm, and they still are here. And they're still perverse, still racking havoc amongst the nation of our people. We need to repent, to move away so that the Most High could rid the earth, the nation that has been described. Where you have the last word.
So we see that there is nothing new under the sun. And that the things that have gone on in the past have been types and shadows of the things that are coming that are similar. We've been in captivity 7 times, each time as a result of our behavior that caused the Most High to use another nation to deal with us because of what we didn't do. We stood at the mountain and said, we will do all that you say. And then we turned and walked away from that mountain and did exactly the opposite of what we said, causing the Most High to have to bring judgment. So we have to understand and accept the part that we play in not setting the example for the other nations to see. That we didn't stay true to our Elohim. That we went into seeking other mighty ones. And every time, judgment followed. So here we are in 2019, and it can still be said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Because many of us today are not waking up. We still want to continue the same behavior, seeking other mighty ones, participating in idolatry, participating in fornication. The behavior persists that caused us to go into judgment in the first place. And even some of us that are waking up are trying to bring other elements from our past into the worship of the Most High Yah. Do we think that he's going to accept it any more now than he has in the past? No. He is not going to accept defiled worship. He's not going to accept a mixed worship of a people that are clinging to one thing while they're reaching for him with the other hand. We have to understand that truly, when Scripture says, come out of her, that you not suffer in her punishment, that we truly need to be set apart as a people. We can't continue to be hypocrites in what we say and do. If we're going to be set apart, we need to truly be set apart. And we need to leave the behaviors behind us that will cause us to be judged with the nation that we've been captive in. Let us pray. Abba Yahuwah, Todah, for the word that's come forth from your Torah, from the writing of the prophets, from the Tehillim, and from the Brit Hadashah today. We ask that you would help us once again to be not just hearers of your word, but doers of your word. Help us to be set apart in everything that we do. Help us to come out, that we not be judged with this nation who has taken us captive. Help us to understand that Martin Luther King couldn't save us. Malcolm X couldn't save us. President Obama couldn't save us. It's only when we return to the covenant and begin to keep your laws, statutes, and commandments, guard your precepts, and accept your Mashiach for who he is, that we have a chance of being set apart. Continue to lead us and guide us in the paths of righteousness for your name's sake, Yahuwah. Continue to wake us up as a people, not just in this country, but across the world, that we might truly understand who we are to you, and who you are to us. Our shield, our buckler, our strong tower, our Redeemer. Hallelujah.
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 And we would ask Yahuwah that you would barak food that we're about to receive, the nourishment of our bodies and minds. And we pray that you would sanctify it and purify it in Hashem Yahusha. As you fed our minds, we ask that and thank you for now feeding our bodies. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yahuwah bless you and guard you.
Yahuwah bless you and guard you.
Yahuwah make his face shine upon you
Yahuwah make his face shine upon you
and show favor to you.
and show favor to you.
Yahuwah lift up his face upon you.
Yahuwah lift up his face upon you
Give you
and give you
shalom.
shalom.
Feed our ruach. Feed our bodies.